Saoirse go carja agus a camera the is an punk finin jerig agus tame an sha arish. I'm here for the second day because, well, something came into my head that I needed to talk about that wasn't about punk rock and the IDF. That was yesterday's video. I just noticed from talking to my Nigerian friends today that the same shit that that crosses their minds crossed our minds in the Irish diaspora here. Now, if, like me, I was born into an Irish family from the west of Ireland, came here in the 1950s. I was born here in the 1970s. Now, I meet other people from Caribbean backgrounds, from South Asian backgrounds, and from African backgrounds, and the same pattern you get. Now, culling as they do, as we all do from colonized peoples, we have a certain amount of privilege over them because most of us have lost our language and we speak English, and we've also got pale faces and the eyes are a bit blue. So they call us white people, even though once upon a time they did not call us white. It's only about 100 years ago we were classed as non-white. There was a racist chart made of the Irish features and the Irish monkey and the English lion next across the sea. There were faces of monkey or ape-like Irish people next to monkey or ape-like African folks. Because Africans are all what they regard Africa as one homogeneous mass, even though Nigeria alone, which is the country I'm talking about in particular today, has about 557 languages, I believe. Well, that may include dialects, with among them Yoruba, Igbo, Hausa. I'm forgetting the bloody names of half of them now, but I hate sounding like an ignorant white fucker. I'm talking to Nigerians. I've got friends and care workers and people like that as support needs that I have. Listening to them, they all it's quite interesting because we have the leader of the opposition in this country is a Nigerian-born Yoruba woman who calls Kemi Badenoch. Some people said they were thrilled to see her doing so well and becoming like a politician in the old empire country, but the way she talked about Nigeria, saying about how corrupt it was, well, that's true enough, and the devastation by the corrupt politicians, I think she sort of completely ignored that. She also said, I've seen socialism, it means poverty. Socialism has never been allowed to thrive in Nigeria because those corrupt politicians are puppets and compradors of the white colonizers. All of the people I know from there said that. It's the same with the Irish Free State. Those in the so-called Dáil, Leinster House in Dublin, are all puppets of Britain. Most of them even come from, or at least a good chunk of them come from, their ancestors are colonial settlers who just assimilated. Some of them converted to Catholicism and became the Irish Catholics. Some of them are Norman Irish Catholics, but they are basically just puppets of the British colonial masters. We're not in the British Commonwealth. Left it in 1949 when the Irish Republic was declared. But effectively, the Irish Free State, as we still insist on calling it, has never gone away. The Republic is a sham. It's a joke. And the occupied 6 counties have been sold down the river by these bastards in the Free State. We have loyalist compradors there who hate, who the Brits don't give a shit about, even though they hate Ireland and they call themselves British, like white colonizers in South Africa, Zimbabwe when it was called Rhodesia, and so on. You see the pattern. Same with Israel, but I've talked about that enough already. Isn't real, should I say. Now, Nigeria didn't have white colonizers staying there, but they still ruled from afar by putting compradors in. Like the most notorious one in the past was Sani Abacha, who made the news here in 1995 when the bastard, at the behest of Shell, the American oil company that was drilling in the land owned by the Ogoni people, the Ogoni local folk were there protesting against it because of the environmental devastation that it was causing, which is still happening today. Yes, Kemi, you're right about that, but it's not. You can easily blame it on your own government. They are just puppets of these fuckers from the USA, the EU, and the UK, and all of that. The UK still has an awful lot of influence in these countries. It doesn't let its colonies go very easily. Ireland's the same. Zimbabwe is the same. They didn't like Robert Mugabe because he was not a good little colonial. They couldn't pat him on the head. Like these fuckers, like I was saying, they say, oh, we love the Irish so much. We've got such good relations with them. No, you don't. Look at the way they talk about kneecap. Look at the way they treat them. They sing in Irish and they talk about colonialism. They do not like that. They like us to be good little docile paddies. Like Bono and Dolores O'Riordan. Val Doonican there with his hit with the dancing paddy. Fuck you. Fishkile. I'm repeating myself. I was talking about this yesterday. Now, it comes to my attention how many of the Nigerian folk I know, good, lovely people, by the way, shout out to them, Bawani, Shawadada, if you're Yoruba, Keduki Mere for the Igbos. Sorry, my Igbo and Yoruba is not very good, but I do my best. They all collectively tell me that they choose to live here and they want to work here. Half of them are getting their right to stay. Their work visas are being declined, and it's becoming even more difficult. Kemi Badenoch's cheering this on. Now, I've heard today by word of mouth from some Nigerians that she's trying to worm her way back in with the Nigerian community to try and say she's one of them, and she's trying to save Nigeria from socialism. So Nigeria's never had socialism. It's a capitalist country run by the Brits from afar. You're a fucking sellout, Kemi. And by the way, the Nigerians, the Yoruba, the Igbo, the Ogoni, the Hausa, all these people, the ones that I know, from people from Edo State as well, they hate you. They hate you from the bottom of your fucking hooves to the top of your pitchfork, right up to those nasty little horns you're trying to hide behind your hair. Nobody likes you, Kemi, because you are a treacherous fucking sellout. You're fucking shitting on poor people in this country, people like me. You're shitting on immigrants. You're openly calling for clamping down, including you try to have kneecap banned. Fuck off. And you're clamping down on immigration because you want to be a careerist. Now, this is the problem you see with immigrants pushing their kids to do well. You know, be like the white man, be like the colonizer. Put on a tie, don't speak your native tongue, assimilate, become a barrister, become a lawyer, become a doctor, become a fucking stockbroker, become a politician. You do the family proud back home. The only ones in the family that give a shit about that aren't worth knowing about. The ones who are worth knowing about don't want to fucking turn you into a fucking monstrous clone of the very colonial bastards that shat on their forefathers before them, and foremothers, should I say. So this goes with people like Rishi Sunak. He's another one of the I believe he's in the high caste Brahmins anyway. They come from a very wealthy family, him. And they come over here and they assimilate and they become more British than the Brits. They become more fascistic and more right wing and even worse than some of the bloody even the Conservatives in this new Labour shower. They're full of like, you know, Jewish with the same Jewish immigrants. The same pressure was put onto them. Pakistani, Bangladeshi, we had Sajid Javid, we had Priti Patel from an Indian family. They were the most vicious bastards. We had Leon Britton was of Lithuanian Jewish in the Thatcher regime. We had Michael Howard, who came from, I think, Romanian Jewish family, brutally right-wing. Michael Portillo from his father was a Spanish Republican, bourgeois Republican. He went over and became a far-right conservative. These are all this is the problem. When you pressure your kids to do well when you've escaped from the poverty back home, you end up with people like this. Do you really want your kids to turn into these kind of people? We have celebrities like Morrissey, who's a right-wing fucking reactionary, comes from an Irish family. The Smiths, the band he used to sing for, all of them were from Irish families, I believe. Johnny Marr, his real name is actually Maher, I think. Andy Rourke and Mike Boyce, I think they're all from Irish families. John Lydon's parents who came from the Irish Free State. The actress Kathy Burke, if you don't know about her, Google her, Kathy with a K. She's a good example of Irish diaspora because she never forgot her roots and never became a right-wing reactionary racist. God bless you, Kathy. You're all right. You're all right, love. Now, the same goes. You know, we have, actors like John Boyega. He's of a Yoruba background, and he didn't. He stood up and said, "Fuck, fuck racism, Black Lives Matter" at an anti-racist rally, and good for him. Kemi Badenoch, on the other hand, is what you do not want your kids to turn out like. If you're a Yoruba person, you don't lose your language because those wankers will never accept you. They never will. They will never accept who you are. You'll always be a colonial. Dare I say, I won't use any racist slurs, but 6-letter word beginning with the letter N is one of them. You'll always be just one of them to those fuckers. They might like all the Irish when it suits them, but as soon as something kicks off in the Irish 6 counties in the northeast occupied zone, it's go home Paddy. So some of us don't punch down at people who are a little bit darker than we are. And I suggest don't become like them because you end up with people like Rishi Sunak, Sajid Javid, Julia Hartley-Brewer claims to be, when it suits her, the racist reactionary demagogue that she claims to be of Irish descent, but I bet she knows fuck all about Ireland. Sharon Osbourne, snarling abuse to demanding that kneecapper lose their visas, which they did, the fucking cunt. Fuck you, Sharon. She claims to be of Ashkenazi, Jewish, and Irish Catholic background, but she knows fuck all about Ireland. And we'll go Gaga Sharon. Neil. Fucking don't speak a word of it, do you? And so on. Yeah, I could go on forever about this, but you see my point. Do not push your kids to become like this because all you'll end up they'll end up becoming like the landlords, like the police, like the bloody black and tans, like the fucking army colonizers that terrorized your parents' generation, you'll end up with giving birth to the same monster. Now, do you really want that? I don't think you do. Anyway, I'm done here. My name's Neil, or Niall. I'm also known as Red Fenian Punk. Gan slán go fóla agus go nairi an bóthir libh go léir. Chucky Arlaw.